For latest astrology videos, subscribe AstroEdify channel and press this bell icon to get notified when a new video goes live.
Hello everybody, welcome to AstroEdify. Today we are going to talk about aspects of planets in Vedic astrology. What are aspects? How does each planet aspect a particular house? And how you have to analyze that aspect that we are going to see. In various circumstances, the aspects can give different results according to the planetary alignments. And we are also going to see the special aspects of Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu and Ketu. How do the special aspects of these 5 planets work in the chart that we are going to see. So let's start this video. If you want to book a consultation for yourself, you can go on this website. The link is given in the description. So we are going to talk about aspects of planets today. As most of you who are already familiar with Vedic astrology, they understand that each planet aspect particular houses, and there are certain special aspects of particular planets as well. But who do not know, I will explain them in detail. And one more thing, that people who are already familiar, the things which we are going to discuss today, that how you have to analyze that aspect, that also plays a very vital role, and most of the people are not able to do that easily. That you know that okay, a planet is looking at a particular house, it's aspecting a particular house, but what does that actually mean? How it is going to manifest in the real life? What kind of results it can bring? That is the main part what we are going to talk about today. So first of all, I just want to clarify that the simple things. Aspect means seeing something. So if a planet is sitting in a particular house, it can aspect a certain house from where it is placed. All the planets, all the 9 planets in Jyotish, they aspect the 7th place from themselves. This is fixed. Permanent aspect is 7th house for every planet. Wherever they are sitting, they aspect the 7th place from themselves. They look at the 7th place from themselves, means just opposite to them. And there is one major reason behind that. The reason is that the house which is 7th from itself, these 2 houses, they are codependent to each other. For example, let's suppose a planet is sitting in 1st house. So that will automatically aspect the 7th house no matter what. The reason is that 1st house and 7th house are codependent. If 1st house is not going to be there, 7th house cannot exist. If 7th house is not there, 1st house cannot exist. So 1st house is you, yourself, your individual identity, personality, thinking, behavior, personality, all those things are 1st house, which make yourself you as a person. Now 7th house is society, where you are living, the material world, where the environment where you are leading your life, that is 7th house. So 1st house is Purusha, 7th house is Prakriti. So they are in mutual coexistence. If individual is not there, society cannot exist, because 7th house is society, and if society is not there, individual cannot exist. So the thing here is that they are in codependency. Hence, any planet which is sitting in any particular house, it will always aspect the 7th place from itself, no matter what. All the 9 planets do that. For example, 4th house. So if let's suppose Sun is in 4th house. Now Sun will always, if it is sitting in 4th house, it will always look at the 10th house, which is 7th place from itself. So 4th house and 10th house are mutually in coexistence with each other. The reason is 4th house is your home, family, happiness, houses, properties, lands, vehicles. That is 4th house. But mainly it is your home, comfort and happiness. Now 10th house is career. Workplace, efforts, actions. If you are not doing any particular actions, if you are not working, if you are not having any career, how can you expect to have a comfortable, homely life? How can you expect to provide for your family? How you can expect to have a healthy, peaceful life at your home? It is impossible. So they both coexist with each other. That is why for every planet is going to be aspecting the 7th house. This is one of the major reasons which I wanted to tell you. Now we will move on to the special aspects of planets, that is for Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu and Ketu. So Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu and Ketu are also given special aspects apart from the 7th house, 7th aspect. So every planet gives sees the 7th house from itself, that we know. But these 5 planets, they also have special other aspects as well to different houses. So we will start with Mars. Now, see that Mars has two extra aspects. One is fourth aspect and second is eighth aspect. So wherever Mars is placed in the chart, from that particular house where Mars is sitting, it will look at the fourth house from itself and the eighth house from itself. So fourth aspect and eighth aspect are given to Mars, which are special aspects of Mars apart from seventh. So Mars will look at fourth place, seventh place, eighth place from itself wherever it is sitting in the chart. Let's suppose Mars is sitting in first house. It will look at the fourth house because from the fourth aspect, seventh house from the seventh aspect, eighth house from the eighth aspect. This is how Mars sees or aspects the houses from wherever it is sitting in the chart. Now, we will see that what is the difference between these aspects. Now, the thing here is that, see, that seventh aspect I have explained to you, because seventh aspect means that planet, any planet, not just Mars, I am talking about any planet. Seventh aspect means these planets are going to bring results in those houses from wherever they are sitting. Okay, let's suppose we can take Moon. Now Moon is in, let's suppose Moon is in fourth house. If Moon is in fourth house, it is going to aspect the 10th house no matter what. So you have to see the placement of the Moon, what sign it is sitting or with what planets it is sitting. But its influence on the career, its influence on the workplace, its influence on your actions is going to be there somehow. So Moon, how it is placed, is going to bring those kind of mental patterns, those kind of thinking behaviors, those kind of internal innate characteristics which a person has, because Moon is your mind, into the 10th house of career as well. Now that depends on the situation of Moon. If Moon is well placed, then it can bring positive aspects. Let's suppose Moon is good, then person can be more because 10th house is career is just an example. So you can be more into serving people because Moon is empathy, care, social service. That is Moon. So that can be an element which can be seen. But if Moon is not well placed, then it can diminish those things, and it can show that a person is going to be more thinking about their own progress rather than serving society or those kind of things. So this is how a particular planet should be assessed when you are assessing the seventh aspect of any planet. Now we are going to come back to Mars. Now Mars has fourth and eighth aspect, as I told you. Now it depends on the placement of Mars. If Mars is positive or well placed in the chart. Now what do I mean by well placed or badly placed? The thing here is that do not get confused that if Mars is in its own sign, or Mars is in a friendly sign, or Mars is exalted, it's going to be good. No, that is not the rule. Any planet which is in its own sign or in exaltation, or it's in a friendly sign, it means that that planet has strength. That's it. That planet is powerful. That has strength in it. It is not going to tell us that whether that planet is good or bad. Let's suppose for Leo ascendant or Cancer ascendant, Saturn is a biggest malefic for these two ascendants. And if Saturn gets exalted, it's not a good thing. Because let's suppose for Leo ascendant, if Saturn is exalted and Sun and Mars are not well placed, then this Saturn is going to create tremendous problems in native's life. Lot of issues. So it can be related to 6th and 7th house, because Saturn rules 6th and 7th house for Leo ascendant people. So the thing here is that do not get confused that okay, my particular planet is exalted or in own sign or friendly sign, it's going to be good for me. No, it is just powerful. If it is good for you, that you have to check from the position that what kind of houses it rules. If it is the lord of the Kendra houses or Trikona houses, it is a good planet. If it is the lord of 6th house, 8th house, 12th house, if it is the lord of 2nd or 7th house, means a Marak planet, then it is not considered a good planet. So you have to see that how that planet is placed, not only in the birth chart but also in the Navamsha. So when I say that that planet is good or bad, you need to assess the overall dignity of that planet in the chart, birth chart, as well as the D9 and its house lordship and everything. Then you have to come to a assessment that okay, this planet is good for me or bad for me. So that is how you have to do. Do not just go towards the fact that it is in its own sign or exaltation. Now the thing here is that we'll come back to Mars. Now Mars fourth aspect. Let's suppose if Mars is well placed in the chart and it is aspecting the fourth place from itself, then what will happen? That fourth house is the house of protection, motherhood. Fourth house is care, empathy, nourishment, emotions. And Mars is a planet which is a soldier, and the duty of soldier is to protect the motherland, protect the people of the country. That is the duty of the soldier. So Mars here is not an emotional planet. Mars means that if it values something, it's going to protect it, and it's going to show its love and affection by giving it security and protecting that particular thing. That is how Mars and Saturn work. So fourth aspect of Mars shows us that it brings protection, security, comfort, and efforts to establish and maintain comfort in that particular house or the things related to that house where Mars is aspecting from its fourth aspect. For example, Mars is sitting in fourth house, and from fourth house Mars will aspect the seventh house. So seventh house is the house of marriage, relationships, and business partnerships, all those things. So if Mars is well placed in the chart, it is a good planet for you, and it is strongly placed, positive. Then the fourth aspect on seventh house will show us that this Mars is going to be bringing an element of protection and care and empathy and continuous efforts, because Mars is an action oriented planet. The person works in order to balance out their marriage, balance out their partnership. So that can be seen, but this is not going to bring out negative characteristic or side of Mars, which we will see later, because Mars is an aggressive negative planet as well. So if Mars is well placed, then fourth house will show us that person is more serious, is not possessive, is not controlling, and they work towards balancing out the things towards the marriage, as I am taking this example of Mars in fourth house. So if Mars is in fourth house and it is aspecting seventh and it is well placed, then it shows that person is going to be committed to the relationship, serious to the relationship. It takes time for a person to commit to a relationship, but once they commit, they can make it work. If Mars is strong, if they can make it work no matter what. And Mars is an action oriented planet. It means that you are going to be protective about your partner, about the stability of the marriage or partnerships, but at the same time you are not going to be overly possessive and controlling. That is a positive aspect which we can see. But let's suppose if Mars is negatively placed, not well placed, then it will bring negative characteristics. It will bring control, domination, emotional instability, jealousy, fear, insecurity, trauma, possessiveness. So that can be seen in partnerships, in relationships, in marriage. And why the person is doing? In order to maintain comfort, but they are not able to understand that what path they have chosen that's going to drive their partner or his spouse away, because it makes marriage overly frustrating and suffocating for your partner particularly. So the thing here is that you have to assess that Mars can play both the roles here, but how it's going to be bringing those kind of results, that depends on the situation or behavior of Mars in the chart. So I hope that you would have understood how fourth aspect of Mars works. Now we will come to eighth aspect. Now eighth aspect of Mars, again, if eighth house is the house of death, termination, instability, continuous ups and downs, uncertainty, changes, transformations, research, development, analysis, all those things are seen from eighth house. Mars also represents those things. Mars is also accident, injuries, surgeries, death, trauma, abuse, aggression, all those things. So eighth aspect, if Mars is aspecting eighth place from any house wherever it is sitting, and if it is well placed, then it shows the destruction of the obstacles in achieving the things related to the aspected house. For example, let's suppose Mars is sitting in 10th house, and from 10th house its eighth aspect will fall on 5th house. Now 5th house is the house of relationships, children, fertility, education, intelligence, all those things. So if Mars is well placed for you, it is strongly placed for you, then Mars will show that it will try to remove the obstacles, destroy the obstacles, barriers, problems which a person can face in having children, in having education, in learning, in understanding, in attaining intelligence, and in relationships, all those things. So that can be seen that if Mars is well placed, then it will destroy the obstacles and the problems associated to the house where it is aspecting. Okay, but if it is negatively placed, then what will happen? That if Mars is a malefic for you and it is afflicted in the chart, and then it is aspecting the then it is aspecting a house from 8th place, then it will try to destroy that. So let's suppose take the same example. Mars is in 10th house, but it is not well placed and it is negative in the chart and it is aspecting 5th house. Then what will happen? That it will destroy all the things related to that house. So it will try to create destruction of the positive things as well related to the house. So 5th house is, it will create problems in education, problems in relationships, problems in having or sustaining relationships. Then troublesome education can be seen, distractions and gaps in education can be seen. Then trouble in having children can be seen, or trouble to the child can be seen. Let's suppose the child is born but he is not healthy, or any kind of problems, or relationship with the child is bad, that can be seen. So 5th house, all the things related to 5th house are going to be damaged by the 8th aspect of Mars. Let's suppose Mars is in 12th house, and from 12th house its 8th aspect is going to fall on 7th house. Now 7th house is marriage, partnerships, business. So that is 7th house. And if Mars is badly placed, then what will happen? No commitment at all. A person will be continuously fighting. Marriage becomes aggressive, traumatic, abusive, and ultimately collapses. So marriage becomes really difficult because it is trying to continuously destroy your marriage and relationships. So if Mars is badly placed, then the 8th aspect on the house, wherever it is giving that in the chart, it's going to create serious problems for the things related to the house in the native's life. That is how you have to see. So any planet can bring good results as well as bad results. It depends on the situation of that planet in the chart. Now we will come to Jupiter's aspect. Now Jupiter is given two special aspects, 5th and 9th. So anywhere where Jupiter is sitting in your chart, from that particular house, Jupiter will aspect the 5th house, 7th house and 9th house. So let's suppose Jupiter is in 1st house. So from 1st house, Jupiter is going to aspect the 5th house, the 7th house and the 9th house. So 5th aspect will fall on 5th, 7th aspect will fall on 7th house, and 9th aspect will fall on 9th house. So what is the difference that we will see now? Now there is also one misconception which I want to clarify before moving ahead. People consider that Jupiter's aspect is always good. That is not the case. Jupiter's aspect is considered most auspicious among all the aspects of all planets, but it depends on the situation and behavior of Jupiter in the chart. If Jupiter is well placed in the chart, it is a benefic for you, it is strongly placed, then it means that its aspect is going to bring positive results, prosperity, auspiciousness. But if that particular Jupiter is not well placed, it is a malefic for you and it is badly placed in the chart, its aspect is not going to be working out in your case no matter what. Its aspect is going to create problems rather than removing the obstacles or nullifying those obstacles. That is not the case which people have in mind. Jupiter, if it is badly placed, its aspect is not going to be good, it's going to be bad. And if it is well placed, only and only then it is going to be supportive and favorable for the person. So now we will talk about the particular special aspects of Jupiter. So 5th aspect. Now 5th house and Jupiter. See, Jupiter is a planet of knowledge, learning, intelligence, wisdom, memory, ethics, morals, values, ideology, belief systems, your inner conscience. That is what Jupiter is. So, and the 5th house is the house of learning, intelligence and education. That is 5th house. Now anywhere from where Jupiter is placed in the chart and it is giving aspect to the 5th place from itself, anywhere, it's going to bring blessings or upliftment to that house or things related to that house, because 5th house is the house of parenthood as well. 5th house is child. So whenever you have a child, you become a parent. Before that you are not a parent. So it means that parenthood, what is the duty of a parent? to to bring upbringing, to give nourishment and care to their child. So it brings upliftment and blessing towards the fifth place from where the Jupiter is aspecting. So if Jupiter is well placed in the chart, it is strong and it is good for the person, then the fifth aspect will give blessings and upliftment or prosperity and abundance related to the things of that house. And also the planet, let's suppose any planet which is sitting there, Jupiter is aspecting that planet. The results of those planets also, let's suppose if that planet is negative for you, the reduction in the negative intensity of that planet will also be there if it is a malefic for you. So good results related to the houses are seen whenever well placed strong positive Jupiter is aspecting the fifth place from itself. It can be any house. For example, let's take Jupiter is in 10th house, and from 10th house Jupiter will aspect the fifth place, 7th place and 9th place. So from 10th house the fifth aspect will fall on 2nd house, and the 9th aspect will fall on the 6th house, and 7th aspect will fall on 4th house. So Jupiter here shows that things related to 2nd house can be good, because 5th aspect is falling on 2nd. So 2nd house is speech, wealth, family. That is what 2nd house. So Jupiter, if it is strong, then it can show that it can bring wealth, money, savings and prosperity in financial material terms in native's life. Because it is bringing blessing and upliftment to the 2nd house. Then it can show good speaking skills, and at the same time also it can show, that depends on the placement of the 2nd lord as well. If 2nd lord is not good, then things happen differently. But if Jupiter is aspecting and 2nd house is fine, then what happens that apart from bringing prosperity and abundance in wealth and all those things, it does not mean that you are going to be billionaire, millionaire. Do not think like that. It means that you are going to be not having financial crisis in your life. You are not going to be hand to mouth. You are not going to be in a situation where you are deeply stressed about your finances and money. That's the point. So, and Jupiter must be well placed, and 2nd lord must be well placed. That is the point I am taking here. Now, 2nd house is speech. So it can show good speech, factual speech, and style of communication is convincing. And at the same time, it can bring element of Vak Siddhi. Vak Siddhi means whatever person says, it comes out to be true sometimes. That kind of thing. So that depends on the placement of Jupiter and the 2nd lord. If it is well placed, it can show good and healthy relations with your family, and you can be born in a influential family or a good family with good morals, ethics, values and principles, which are more focused on providing values and instilling values in their future generations. That kind of family, that can be seen. So that is a healthy aspect of Jupiter on 2nd house, if it is bringing fifth element in a good direction. Now let's what about the 9th aspect? Now 9th house aspect is considered the most important and has the highest power to neutralize bad influences of other planets. So 9th aspect is considered as the most powerful and most auspicious aspect among all the planets in Jyotish. So the thing here is that if Jupiter is strong and it is good, then it's going to be bringing the any house upon which it is bringing the 9th aspect, it's going to bring good results related to that house. And if any malefic planets are sitting there, it's going to neutralize the bad influences or negative intensity of those planets as well to a greater extent. Okay, so the thing here is that why 9th house is most important? Because 9th house is the house of knowledge, wisdom, and wisdom means jnana. There is a difference between 5th and 9th. 5th house is not the house of wisdom. 9th house is the house of wisdom. 5th house is not the house of dharma. 9th house is the house of dharma. Dharma means your internal morals, ethics, values, principles, the moral compass, the conscience, the ideology and belief system which you set for yourself to lead your life. That is what 9th house is. And that is what Jupiter represents. So, 9th aspect, always, if it is good, then it enhances the knowledge related to that house upon which the aspect is falling. It enhances the bhagya of that house. It brings wealth of that house, and by wealth I mean knowledge about those things. It is not money always. Wealth does not mean money always. Wealth can be seen of those particular things related to that house, or wealth through that house also can be seen. Let's suppose you know certain things. Let's suppose Jupiter is in 12th house and it is aspecting the 9th house. 9th aspect from it's giving 9th aspect to 8th house. Then 8th house is the house of occult science, yoga, meditation, dhyan, tapasya. 8th house is research, analysis. It is good for medical field. So it can show that you can have the knowledge of the subject areas related to the 8th house, and through that you can earn money. But Jupiter mainly shows wealth of knowledge, wealth of understanding, wealth of the subject or the things related to that particular house. That is what Jupiter is. And if you are earning money through that, that is an additional element. Okay. So let's suppose Jupiter was in 10th, as I took the previous example. Now from 10th house, Jupiter is going to aspect the 6th house. Now 6th house is a malefic house. 6th house is loans, debts, enemies, diseases. So if a strong Jupiter is aspecting 6th house from its 9th aspect, then it shows that it can show you can win over your enemies. Even if you get into trouble with some people in your life, they can be your enemies. You can enter into court cases or litigation and anything, you will always be winning. That is what Jupiter shows. No matter what the circumstances, Jupiter will show that it's not going to bring losses through 8th house, 6th house. Then 6th house shows competition. It shows you can succeed in competition, in examinations or any place, at workplace, anything. So it brings victory in competition. Then Jupiter shows 6th house is reduction in diseases. So it is good for health, or any health problems. Even if they come, it is going to create options for healthy recovery or fast recovery for the person. That can be seen. Then for career perspectives, 6th house can function well because it can bring knowledge of the 6th house. So we can see doctors or medical professionals or fitness professionals. We can see sports person. We can see people working in banks, financial institutions, insurance, audit, account, taxation, all those things that can be seen from 6th aspect, 6th house, 9th aspect of Jupiter. So this is how you have to analyze a particular aspect of any planet in the chart. Okay. Now we will talk about what if that Jupiter is not well placed and it is negative or malefic for the person. Then what will happen? That Jupiter is going to bring internal corruption, because Jupiter is your internal belief system, morality, ethics, principles and ideology. And if Jupiter, it is the planet of dharma, so if Jupiter is not well placed, then person can be a hypocrite, can use knowledge for wrongful means and purposes, can enter into all kind of malpractices and corruption, will be adharmi. So that can be seen. Person who is ungrateful. So that kind of things can be seen. But what does Jupiter show? If it is badly placed and it is aspecting any house, it shows that mostly your own faulty, corrupt thinking and self actions are going to create troubles for you related to the house wherever Jupiter is aspecting. So let's suppose Jupiter is in 8th and it is aspecting 4th house. So you are going to create problems on your own related to your own house, family or lands and properties. Those kind of things can be seen because 4th house represents those things. So in general, Jupiter means you are going to use your own thinking, knowledge and learning, as well as your beliefs or ideological systems against you. That kind of thing can be seen. So it tries to destroy the house. Ultimately, let's suppose even if you earn some things related to those house wherever Jupiter is aspecting, sooner or later it's going to create troubles to the things related to that house, and they become the reason for trouble in your life. So that kind of thing can be seen if Jupiter is badly placed in the chart. Now we will come to Saturn's aspect. Saturn has two special aspects, third and 10th. So wherever Saturn is placed, let's suppose Saturn is in 4th house. So from 4th house it will aspect the 3rd house from itself, that is the 6th house. Then it will aspect the 7th house from itself, that is the 10th house. And it will aspect the 10th place from itself, that is the 1st house. So wherever Saturn is placed in the chart, from there Saturn will aspect 3 houses, 3rd, 7th and 10th houses. So what does 3rd aspect show? Now see, 3rd house and Saturn, they have similarity. Saturn and 3rd house both represent hard work, labor, courage, stamina, willpower, dedication, relentlessness, those kind of things. And Saturn is a planet of delay and struggle, and it tests your patience. It breaks you to your breaking point. It tests your seriousness towards the goal which you have in your mind for yourself. So if anywhere where Saturn is going to be aspecting the 3rd place from itself, that house you have to work hard continuously throughout your life in order to maintain stability and harmony towards the things related to that house, no matter what. Because 3rd aspect of Saturn shows that you have to continuously work hard and put efforts incessantly, consistently, persistently throughout your life towards the things related to that house, no matter what. But if Saturn is well placed in the chart, it is good for you. Then it shows that the things which you are working for, you are going to get them. You are going to attain the final results. Let's suppose you are working to clear a competitive examination, and Saturn is in 4th house and it is aspecting the 6th house. 6th house is the house of competition. So if Saturn is well placed in 4th house and it is aspecting the 6th house, it shows that it will create delay, struggle, frustration in order to clear competitive exams. But if you are serious enough, persistent enough, then finally it will give you success and victory. But if Saturn is bad, then what will happen? Person either does not work, they are working in wrong directions. That also happens, because hard work is one thing, that is fine. Everybody needs to put efforts. But if those efforts are continuously done in wrong direction, no matter how hard you work, you are not going to get any result whatsoever. So the thing here is that direction also matters. But I am not talking about that right now. Other planets are responsible for that, mainly Moon, Mercury and Lagna Lord. But the point here is that anywhere where Saturn's 3rd aspect falls, you have to work towards those things in order to achieve the results, in positive results regarding the things related to that house. Let's suppose Saturn is in 5th house and it is aspecting the 7th house. 3rd aspect will fall on 7th house. So 7th house is your marriage and business partnerships. So in order to maintain harmony, stability and happiness in your marriage and relationship, you will have to continuously work towards them. You will have to continuously giving attention towards them. Otherwise, it's going to bring instability and unhappiness and distraction and detachment and isolation. That is what Saturn is. So that is how the 3rd aspect works. But if, as I pointed before, if Saturn is strong, well placed, then the things finally happen, and whatever you are working towards, you get the end result, no matter what, even if it is after delay and struggle. But if it is not well placed, then it will bring destruction of that house. It will bring destruction of that house. So let's suppose I took the example of 5th house Saturn aspecting 7th. So if the person is not serious or committed enough, then what will happen? It will automatically create serious problems in your marriage and relationship, serious problem in your business partnerships. That can be seen, because that is what Saturn does. if you are not working towards those things, you are lazy, you are lethargic, you have no commitment, you have no relentlessness, you are not serious enough, you do not want to pursue those things, then what will happen? Automatically, it's logical, forget about planetary element, it's logical, practical enough to understand that if you are not working towards anything, you are not going to get it. So seventh house aspect, third aspect on seventh, if this situation is happening, what will happen? It will destroy the marriage, it will destroy the business partnerships, it will destroy the things related to the seventh house. So that is what how third aspect works for the Saturn, and it can be seen for any house. Let's suppose Saturn is in 8th. From 8th house, Saturn will aspect 10th. So 8th house is the house of instability, ups and downs, changes. And 10th house is career. So Saturn will bring 8th element and throw it on 10th. So what will happen? That if Saturn is bad, then it will bring continuous instability, job, career instability, frequency of job changes is very high, you are not able to move ahead, internal office politics is too much, intrigue and conspiracy is too much, scandals and controversies are too much, and you do not have good reputation. All those things come into play in terms of workplace, and a lot of enemies are there at workplace. No serious growth is going to happen in 10th, means career. That is how Saturn can be seen. But if Saturn is strong, then it can show that 8th house positive aspects can be seen. So 8th house positive aspects means if a person is having an element of research, analysis, policy implementation, operations in their work profile, it becomes good for them. And they are able to handle that kind of negative element, means any kind of hidden enemies of office politics, you are able to deal with them. So that is how the nature of planet brings variations in terms of results towards the aspect where it is giving the house. Now we will talk about 10th aspect. 10th house is the house of actions and karma. 10th house is the house of actions and karma. So wherever 10th aspect of Saturn is falling, that house becomes your focus of karma and actions. And Saturn is also a planet of actions. So let's suppose Saturn is in 7th house and its 10th aspect will fall on 4th house. So 7th house means that 7th house is marriage now and business. And 4th house is land, home, vehicles, properties, family, mother. That is 4th house. So it shows that if Saturn is strong for you, well placed for you, and it is aspecting 4th house, then it means that you are trying to, your main focus is 4th house. So your marriage, your business, your professional activities, you are doing them in order to attain harmony and balance and peace and comfort in your home. That is 4th house. So that can be seen. Let's suppose Saturn is in 10th house. So from 10th house, it is aspecting the 7th house from its 10th aspect. So what will happen? That you can work towards establishing 7th house areas. So 7th house is marriage. 7th house is partnerships and business. 7th house is public service also. The best example is our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji. So he has Saturn in 10th house. In his case, Saturn is not showing emphasis on marriage or business. He is not a businessman. He is a politician. He is in public service. So serving the public, that is 7th house. So Saturn means doing some actions. You are performing some actions and that becomes your focus. So your focus is going to be towards those things where Saturn's 10th aspect falls. That can be seen. So, and one more thing. What kind of actions the person is going to do, that will be seen from the chart, because actions can be good and bad. The karma can be good and bad. So if the person is doing good actions, obviously favorable results can be seen. But if they are doing or performing bad actions towards those houses, that depends on the chart placement. Other planets also play a very vital role. Okay, so that you have to see in the chart. So that is how 10th aspect and 3rd aspect of Saturn works. Now lastly, we will talk about Rahu and Ketu. Now Rahu and Ketu, they are retrograde, and hence their aspects also are in retrogression. So, and their aspects are 5th and 9th, same as Jupiter. So wherever Rahu is placed or Ketu is placed, they are going to aspect the 5th place from themselves and the 7th place from themselves and the 9th place from themselves. So, but it will be in a reverse direction. Let's suppose Rahu is in 2nd house. If Rahu is in 2nd house, its 5th aspect is going to fall on 10th house, not the 6th house. And its 9th aspect is going to fall on 6th house, not the 10th house. Similarly, Ketu, since Rahu Ketu are always opposite to each other, so Ketu's 5th aspect will fall on 4th house, because Ketu will be in 8th if Rahu is in 2nd. So Ketu's 5th aspect will fall on 4th house, not 12th house, and its 9th aspect will fall on 12th house, not 4th house. That is how their aspects work. But see, Rahu and Ketu's aspect is very difficult to analyze because they do not have their own integral behavior. They are dependent on other planets to bring results. They are shadow planets. They always act as other planets in with which they are sitting, or the signs in which they are sitting, or the nakshatras in which they are sitting. So they tend to bring the elements of those planets on whom they are dependent. So it becomes very tricky, very difficult to analyze the aspect of Rahu and Ketu. But how it is generally done, that I will explain here. So Rahu's 5th and 9th aspect, that we will take first. Now Rahu is a planet of attraction, attachment, temptation, glamour, all the materialistic wealth, gains and pleasures and luxuries. That is what Rahu is. So 5th aspect of Rahu shows attraction towards that house. So 5th house aspect, wherever Rahu is aspecting, from wherever it is sitting, it can bring attraction towards the things related to that house wherever its 5th aspect is falling. So if Rahu is well placed for the person, then it can show that Rahu is a planet of logic, intelligence and cleverness. So Rahu can show attraction towards attaining the knowledge, because 5th house is knowledge and intelligence. So 5th aspect of Rahu can show attraction towards the things related to that house, but you can use your intelligence, knowledge and learning and cleverness and your life experiences to attain the knowledge about the things related to that house. Okay, so that can be seen. Let's suppose Rahu is in 1st house. So Rahu is in 1st house, so its 5th aspect will fall on 9th house, not the 5th house. So if 9th house is the house of higher learning, gurus, teachers, education, higher education, philosophy, religion, culture, all those things. So Rahu's, if it is well placed in the chart, then it can show that a person can be logical enough to understand the 9th house aspects. Okay, so person is not, I'm not talking about a person who is blindly following the religion. A person who is looking towards the logical side of religion or spirituality or philosophy and other subjects which interest them. So that is what, because 9th house is higher education and learning. So Rahu can bring the knowledge about those areas. You have to see the planets and the house and the sign also wherever Rahu is aspecting. So it can show attraction towards those things and learning about the things which that house represents. Okay, let's suppose Rahu is aspecting, Rahu is in Rahu is in 12th house. So Rahu is in 12th house. So Rahu will aspect the 8th house. So 8th house can show knowledge about occult science or hidden things, secrecy, or any kind of covert operations and things. It can show 8th house is research, analysis. It can bring research capabilities, analytical skills in the person. That is how it can be judged in the chart. So you have to see that 5th house aspect shows that Rahu is going to bring attraction towards those things, and it can show increment in those things. But if it is bad, then what will happen? It will destroy. It will completely destroy that element, because Rahu is not the planet of knowledge. It is the planet of adharma. So adharma means corruption, and at the same time it shows irresponsibility, no commitment, no belief systems, no ideology, anarchy, all those things. That is what Rahu is. So if that Rahu is badly placed, then the aspect wherever it is falling, then Rahu will create a lot of problems related to that house, ups and downs related to that house, and difficulties, frustration, struggle, delay, destruction of the things related to that house. And person can use their intelligence and learning and the knowledge which they have gained in wrongful means in towards attaining the things related to that house. That can also be seen. Now the 9th aspect also works in the same fashion. The only thing is there that Rahu in the 9th aspect can bring, if it is well placed, it can bring good material gains, because 9th house is wealth, Lakshmi is Sthana. So Lakshmi means it can bring material gains also, Let's suppose Rahu is in 10th and its 9th aspect will fall on 2nd house. So if Rahu is well placed in the 10th house and it is aspecting 2nd and 2nd lord is fine, then it can show abundance of wealth and abundance of prosperity, abundance of money, savings and all those things. Best example is Shah Rukh Khan, Donald Trump. Both have exalted Rahu in 10th and both are wealthy. So no doubt they have a strong 2nd house, but you have to see that how Rahu is functioning there, because Rahu is strong, it is in the 10th and it is aspecting 2nd. So it is bringing good results of 2nd house, not bad results of 2nd house. So some negative features can be seen. That depends on the chart. But overall, if a placement what I talked about, Rahu is suitable for bringing material gains wherever it is aspecting, okay, from the 9th aspect. But if it is badly placed, then what will happen? Person will earn through bad means. Person will, whatever they will earn, they are going to be losing that wealth finally. And if it is extremely badly placed, then the destruction of that house will be seen. Means if Rahu is very badly placed, then 2nd house can show continuous ups and downs, fluctuations in savings, continuous problems in finances, financial crisis can be seen, loans and debts can be seen. That is also a situation if Rahu is bad. So it is not necessarily the case always that Rahu in 10th aspecting 2nd is always going to bring material gains. That you have to see the placement of Rahu. If it is good, obviously gains. If it is bad, then losses. So that is how it works. Now the last is Ketu. Now Ketu also has 5th and 9th aspect. Now the general result of Ketu in both these aspects is same. The only difference is that 5th aspect of Ketu shows rejection or destruction of that house. If it is, because Ketu is a rejection of material world. So if it is well placed, then a rejection or indifference or attitude of indifference or detachment or disinterest towards those things related to that house can be seen. But if it is badly placed, then what will happen? Then destruction, dissatisfaction can be seen towards the things related to that house. And 9th house aspect shows element of jnana, element of knowledge and wisdom. So for example, Ketu is let's suppose Ketu is in 12th house, okay. So Ketu is in 12th house, then its 9th aspect will fall on 4th house, okay. 9th aspect will fall on 4th house. So from 4th, its 9th aspect can show, if Ketu is well placed, then 9th aspect on 4th house can show a person who is calm, composed, who has internal indifferent attitude towards material world, detachment, vairagya, which we call vairagya. So detachment, it is good for spiritual life, moksha, liberation, dhyan, tapasya, samadhi, all those things. It is very well placed for that. But if this Ketu is bad, then what will happen? Person will not have inclination towards the spiritual aspect at all. Rather, they will always be dissatisfied, discontented, mentally and emotionally unbalanced and unstable, live in fear, anxiety, aggression, frustration, and angst. Continuous mental anguish becomes the part and parcel of life. And you will never have any sukha. Sukha means happiness or comfort and peace in your life, because that is what 4th house is. And if Ketu is bad, then it will bring total destruction of 4th house. That is how it is. And even if, let's suppose, the things which you wanted in your life, even if you get them, it's not going to bring peace and satisfaction to you. That is how it works. So Ketu's also aspect has to be analyzed in this fashion, what I told to you. Okay. So today we have seen the aspects of all the planets and the spatial aspects in detail. I hope that you would have understood all the things today, and regarding aspects, particularly how they have to be seen and analyzed in the chart. Okay, so we will talk about other important, curious, interesting things in further videos. If you are new to my channel, subscribe below for more. Check on my website and Facebook page and Instagram. The links of them are given in the description. Otherwise, we will meet in the next video. Till then, goodbye and thank you.